actually sort of on the hunt for a potential sound mixer or sound designer to add more sort of natural sounds, and maybe taking out a little bit of the music. Like, that's still sort of up in the air. And obviously when the band plays it live, it'll be a little different each time. And they've talked about incorporating more sort of foley when they perform it, so we'll see.
Boy and his sister was very sweet and believable, and they seemed to really enjoy each other. And I was curious if they'd known each other before the film, and how you felt working with kids.
Actually, we found that out the day that we were casting, because there's only one performing arts school in Reykjavik, and so they all came in. But they were all in different grades, and they all have performing arts backgrounds. They didn't know each other very well, but at the end of the shoot, they're really close. And it was really great working with them. David, who plays the boy, is actually a ballet dancer, so he has a lot of sort of like physical technique that was really fun to play with. And Victoria, who's the little sister, is 7, and she started out not knowing that much English, and at the end of the shoot, she was basically fluent. So it was really great having them get to know each other. I'm pretty sure Delia, who's the girl, has a crush on David at this point. Like, towards the end, it was pretty good. And they were great. I mean, I don't think, my 11-year-old self would be, just kind of jump into the shoot with like 15 people from all over the world and be like, okay, get on this raft, and your parents aren't here. And they just totally were super into it. So it felt like a little miniature summer camp. Everything's way better over there. Permits, child labor laws. It's definitely a shoot movies in Iceland. Don't just in the States. I would say the biggest challenge was that all the cars are manual. We have here a few drivers who drive manual cars. But other than that, it was really, one of the best experiences of my life. It was really amazing. And we had a really incredible co-production company, Film, who came on board pretty much the day before we started shooting, and let us use all their equipment, their editing suite, like all their facilities, which, was a huge, huge help. And I think people are very enthusiastic about these kinds of projects. We went into it being like, okay, so, we're making this movie, there's no dialogue, and everyone was like, okay, what can I do? Do you need food? Do you need a car? Do you need, whatever you need? You need an office. So it was actually, I don't think we could have made this movie anywhere else in the world but in Iceland. So yeah, go to Iceland. So what it actually is salt licks for horses that they would grind up. And yeah, it was just sort of that same idea of, if you have nothing, what's really left? And we had this idea of it being rocks that they would grind up and make that kind of gruel. And yeah, it was just kind of an image that came up sort of earlier when we were developing this story. And yeah, we liked the idea of it just being sort of like the simplest thing you could find out there, and it's all rock. The entire Icelandic landscape is just like volcanic rock as far as the eye can see. So we're like, well, this is all I have. So that's where the idea originated from. But powder form is oatmeal with food coloring.
Yeah, could you talk about other visual references that inspired you? I feel like with a project like this, when you're inventing the whole world, you could go any number of directions. And with the masks, with the raft, with the food, all of these things. Just curious what you were...
Yeah, there were about a million different sources. Trying to think of some of the major ones. A couple movies that we looked at that really inspired us were like Right One In, The Fall, Pan's Labyrinth. We saw Beasts of the Southern Wild sort of right before we went to shoot. We were like, oh, they're a rap too. So the rap is bigger. And so that was, Tree of Life was a huge inspiration for the cinematography, especially. But then, yeah, I mean, we were really taking things out of, you know, photography, fashion, like, sort of everything and anything. I mean, and story-wise, it was a lot of kind of life experiences, memories that I had as a kid. Kiki, who's my sister, but we were very strategic when we were little, and we each had our own room. We were like, it's so much better if we just put, you know, both beds in one room, so we have one bedroom and one playroom, so we would sleep in this like big bed together, and that's where that came. So, you know, all of these little things kind of came together and made this big thing. The real life inspiration that came from Orthodox Jews. Do that as a ritual, and I remember seeing that in the synagogue when I was little and being terrified and thinking that it looked really painful, and thinking that it was sort of this like really extreme form of punishment, and it's always kind of stuck with me. And so when the father sees that the boy's been kind of hoarding all of these contaminated toys, he to punish him. That's what he does.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you.